everyone. My name is Celia Hamilton. I'm the Strategic Planning Manager for Social Biz User Group. Thanks for listening to this interview. Today I'm talking to Debbie Landers and Jackie Ryan. Debbie is the IBM General Manager of Connexa and Smarter Workforce at IBM and is responsible for IBM's initiative to enable clients to gain a competitive business advantage through optimizing skilled people assets. Jackie Ryan is the Director of Talent Analytics for Smarter Workforce at IBM and is responsible for developing the talent analytics business. Hi, Debbie and Jackie. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi,
Hello.
Celia. It's great to be here. Thank you.
So let me start with a general question. Debbie, what is data analytics used for in HR? How has it helped optimize the hiring process? And is hiring the only HR function analytics is applied to, or are there others?
Some interesting questions in your question there, Celia. Thank you. So for a long time, HR has been a very significant gatherer and generator of data for the business. And I think if you talk to any HR professional, they would tell you they have potentially more data than they know what to do with. What has been happening over the last little while is there's really been, through the evolution of what CEOs and other C-suite leaders are looking for with respect to hitting their goals, driving KPIs, there has been more and more of an invitation for the leaders within the HR community to take advantage of all this data that's been gathered through numerous applications over many years in some cases of various businesses, and bring that data to bear on true strategic decision-making and operational optimization of their business. So it's kind of like people and people data, are a thing whose time has come. They're not new. Any HR professional has for a long time had to go and look at their data, figure out how to use it, how to gain insights from it, give advice from it, and so on. But there is great opportunity that is coming now from recognition of the value of all that data that's been gathered and the insight that it provides into people and their impact on the business, and a true invitation for HR to come to the strategic table and use that data for true business advantage. And so we see a real unique happening there. And we see HR having a great appetite to use it across all the processes that they influence and manage on behalf of their stakeholders. So hiring is an obvious one. And, we'll talk more about the kinds of analytics that we in IBM facilitate for HR. But hiring is a great one if you think about it as in a predictive space, looking at not only, what candidates may you have out there and what are good sources of candidates for you, but using different types of analytics, in our case, linking them with our behavioral sciences to look at not only who may have the skills, but who is a good fit for the culture and the environment, and who is likely to thrive within a particular company. So those kind of predictive analytics are being used more and more in the hiring space. But as I said earlier, across all functional areas, the HR team is looking to drive strategic advantage through the data they've gained, as well as optimizing the way they apply their resources and dollars to get optimal advantage in areas like learning. So there's a lot of opportunity for analytics in the talent space.
And Jackie, what do you see as the biggest game changer for adopting analytics into the HR space, and how will it have the biggest impact on business?
Yeah, Celia, I think there are two major game changers, and that is the availability of cloud services and also the latest developments of cognitive analytics. So with cloud services, this is spot on addressed the problem whereby typically or traditionally to do analytics projects, you have needed to understand data management skills, analytical methodologies, understand how to build analytics projects, and so forth. And that traditionally hasn't been a function of HR. Over time, organizations have built HR IT groups. However, cloud now transitions all of that to a service. So businesses and HR professionals now have the ability to engage through cloud services to get the capabilities that they want, to help them with questions they're trying to address, help them with their business functions. Second is with the advent of and the introduction of cognitive analytics. You now have, HR professionals now have the ability to interact with systems in a very, very different way. In the experience of interacting with data in analytics is very different. Mm-hmm. Again, before you would have to know how to run models. You would have to know how to create models, score them, and so forth. Very different skills. Now with cognitive systems that actually take on the management and hosting of data, mm-hmm. do a lot of the automation of model building, discovery of data. You can now interact with your data through natural language and to be able to get insights back. Very different than how things were even 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Very, yeah. And Jackie, what can HR do to get the most out of the data they collect?
Well, I would say at least a couple things. One would be, the first one is really starting to understand insights from their data. And HR, in the HR area, all HR data is big data in a sense. Mm-hmm. Whether it's demographic data about employees, such as their contacts, their education, diversity information, credentials. Whether it's performance data, such as performance evaluations or experiences, or behavioral or psychometric data, such as attitudes and personality traits, mm-hmm. or attitudes. All that data typically is available within HR in combination to data that sits across the business, such as business performance data. So the first step being able to really start to discover insights from that data, and using the data that exists today to be able to start to look at and understand patterns, understand how the data can help to answer questions. And again, that's done. You can do that today. HR professionals can do that today through the combination of cognitive analytics and cloud services. And that's exactly what what we recently announced around IBM Connects a Talent Insights that allows you mm-hmm. to interact with that data in the way that I described. And the second is to start to use it to help answer questions, make the data and the analytics work for you, as an HR professional, mm-hmm. Versus you having to do all the management right. of that data to start with.
Right. Yeah, this sounds like a huge shift on how people would view HR and how HR folks would view the people as assets to the company.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've described this a few times as allowing. So HR has for a long time been an art. It's very talented people who've built knowledge and expertise about their organizations and their communities and the things that work well in their business, and they've steered a lot of things through that. The desire for analytics is bringing in science, and as you start to look at this changing ways of adopting analytics in this, it's going to allow the HR professionals to step back out of that data-oriented kind of role and get back to being those artists they are around people, using that data effectively. And what the art becomes now is not about figuring out how to find and cleanse the data. That's all being done with the things like IBM Connects a Talent Insights. But now the art becomes about understanding what questions to ask and then having the insight and the time now, because they're no longer doing all that work around the data, to then apply their creativity to doing something with that data. So it's a pretty exciting time, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That is very exciting. Jackie, how is using analytics around people evolving?
In a big way.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I would make the comparison to, how analytics about people has already been done in other functions within the business, such as in marketing and sales, where understanding a complete view of your client, of your clients, has really transitioned. For example, marketing from marketing programs to the masses to marketing to the individual. And now HR professionals and the HR profession has that same ability to get a holistic view of employees through similar technologies and similar ways to do things like building intentional, personalized learning plans for employees, to be able to really build a leadership bench in a very different way, having a complete view of employees. So analytics is being used, as we were talking about earlier, in a number of different ways within HR, well beyond, strictly hiring or recruiting. But with this complete view of the employee, you can now get the same benefits or similar benefits and more as to what other functions within the business have had for a while.
Okay, that wraps up the first half of my conversation with Debbie Landers and Jackie Ryan, so thanks for listening. Make sure to check out socialbizug.org for the second half of that conversation. I'll be posting it soon. In that second half, we'll talk about how analytics fit in with creating a social workforce. We'll talk about whether analytics are dehumanizing the workforce. And we'll also talk about what we can expect to see from the IBM Connexa Talent Suite in the near future. Don't forget to check out socialbizug.org. It's a free community for IBM Notes and Domino administrators and developers. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SocialBizUserGroup.